Hi, I am Tara Jerman from Knight Frank, the residential team, and I'm here today with Johnny Bennett from Extend Architects.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Johnny. I'd love to ask you a few questions today, if you don't mind.
Shoot, Ed.
If somebody was looking at a home or they found their dream home, at what stage would they engage with an architect?
I think as early as possible. Architects aren't just about the design. There's plenty of other information and aspects of the building they can give you, which would be in terms of can the work be carried out at all? Does it need plan permission? How much is it going to cost? All these bits of information will help you make your decision on it. And they can give you the idea of timelines, if the work's going to happen, when you'll be finished by, so you can plan ahead. And then the house may or may not be for you as a result of those answers they give you.
If you agree on using your services, what is the process then for you and the client together?
Look, so most architects kind of do give the same service, which is generally 4 parts, especially residential stuff. So you'd be kind of, the first part would be design, okay? The second part is planning. The third is preparing a tender to get a builder's price, and then the fourth is then overseeing it on site. So in the design part of it, basically it's between the client and the architect trying to agree what they really want to get out of the building, and for that the client should produce what's called a brief if they can. Now we can give you advice on that. We can talk it through, or you can write it down, and some people would even have images of what they want out of the house. So a brief would be things like how many bedrooms you want, what type of kitchen you have, do you want to be
over children maybe?
Yeah, exactly. And so that, and it's really how they live their lives. So if they have a number of children, it's a bedroom for every child, then you're going to share a bedroom. Also, say even the kids play a lot of sport, they need kind of a mud room to keep like hockey sticks in, or rugby balls, things like that. So that's how kind of you build up an idea of what their life is, and then from that you'll be able to plan a house based on kind of covering all those aspects of their life. But they also might have images of what they want that to look like, but some people don't.
Yeah.
So you do the early stuff is getting their ideas onto the page and making sure it fulfills all their needs out of a house. And that usually takes about 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 5 meetings to agree it. And once we've agreed a plan that works so and a kind of a look, we produce a 3D model of it, a movie, so they can walk around the house and get an idea of what it actually means.
See what really they're...
Yeah, and it really helps people visualize.
They'll be getting.
Yeah, because a lot of people can't read drawings, and they look at it in 2D, it doesn't really make sense. But when you see it in 3D, everyone fully understands it and can appreciate what they're going to get. And if you agree that, then you finish the design stage, and then you have to move on to planning. And generally, if it works out of that scale, you will need planning permission for it. So to do the planning, we've got to produce a kind of technical set of drawings for the planning authority to understand what we're doing, especially in relation to anything to do with neighbours, heights, distances to boundaries. And we also need to fit in some documents with that as well. Clients don't have to be involved in that really, because it is just a technical process, but we'll always look at it at the end just to make sure this is what they want and it's what they understand they're getting. And in terms of budget, there's no point in getting plan permission for something you can't afford to build or didn't intend spending money on.
Do they give that to you at the early stage so you know their idea of their budget? They will have X in their head to spend, and you might go, well, for that I can do this. Or do you kind of work the other way as well?
You can work both ways. Generally, we work to fulfill what they want, or what their dream home is. But we would advise them at this stage, the dream home will cost this.
Yeah.
Okay, or sometimes they can go, well, I have a fixed budget, I'm not spending it.
Yeah.
So you have to design within a budget. So some parts of the dream home definitely have to be scaled back to make sure it suits their budget.
But that's probably where you become more functional, maybe.
Yeah, but it's kind of, it's experience as well, because, some people think, what a building cost can be. They can be different depending on what material somebody uses. So if somebody's using, a polished concrete floor, it'll be a lot different to costs for just putting down a timber floor or laminate floor. So we can advise on that. So you can control costs of that. But there is also, when you go to build, you go with things what are called PC sums or provisional sums as well, where things are not finalised in terms of pricing. So say your kitchen, we put a sum against and say, listen, this is a budget we think for a kitchen that you would like. That's when you go out and actually buy it.
Because that's a very hard decision, isn't it, to make at an early stage? Or is it?
No, it is. And even ourselves, when we go to jobs or on site, you do change your mind.
Yeah.
It's like there's very few...
Yeah, as the process continues.
I don't know, there's any job I've gone to that it's exactly the same as the drawings. They'd be close, but things move around. You decide, actually, you know what, I don't want the door in that position. But as long as you make the decision early enough... It's not, plastered and schemed and going, let's move that door. If it's just, stud work up, you go, do you know what, it would be better if that door was a little bit left. That happens on site all the time. But that's after post-planning. So once you get your planning permission, then you got to produce that set of drawings that are really technical in terms of all that information goes on, all the lighting, all the plumbing, everything on it. So builder can price it. So we'd be advise the client again on that, what's the most important things that analysts need to put in.
So if someone's going through the project and they realise that the door should be over here and not here, do they have to go back in for planning?
No. So, internal works, no.
Okay.
If there's something major they want to change on the outside, you can go for what's called planning retention. So if you were building, you can look for planning retention as long as it's reasonable, but you really shouldn't be changed in your mind. If major changes generally, actually nothing. We maybe one or two jobs we've had it on purely somebody has completely changed.
But that's why all the groundwork is done beforehand and the number of meetings.
You could be at that stage, you could have had 20 meetings, maybe 30 meetings, and it will be like planning, design, everything. It could be 9 months, nearly a year before you're actually building. Okay. So you'd know each other very well. So no one's going to jump in with surprise decisions, hopefully. You never know, it does happen. Yeah. And then once you've got the planning and you've put it out to a builder to get priced, you might go out to 2 or 3 builders, maybe even 4 builders, and you pick the one that you want to use. Maybe they work locally and you're happy with them. Then when you go to site, on what's called a building contract. That'll be between the client and the builder, but we'll be part of the contract just to oversee it, to make sure it's carried out correctly as per the drawings, and that when the builder puts a claim in for money, we then certify the claim each time. And at the very end, the build will certify the build was carried out correctly, it meets all regulations.
And do you recommend the builders, or can the client recommend?
It can be a bit of both. Generally, we prefer to work with builders.
You've worked before.
Work with just know their experience, they know us. But often we will put a client's builder on just to have a controlled price, because if we keep working with the same builders, eventually they might all start talking to each other. So we generally like to get a builder we've never worked before, and often all the builders we have will be builders who we've never worked with before. The client recommended, it's gone well, and we use them again. But a good builder on site is crucial, because it'll affect everything in terms of budget, timelines, everything. Yeah. So we really prefer.
And you need a builder who's going to, complete the job, or is used to maybe your style of.
Yeah, and have to expect. So they'd always be working to a point where at the end of a job, you're just called snagging of the job to make sure everything is done a certain way, and they'd know what we would expect in terms of finish. Yeah. So I'd also recommend, if you were going to go for a builder that the client is recommended or that nobody knows, to go and see their work and see the finish and talk to another client to see what because an architect will have a different view of a builder than a client would. A client may see a builder a different way than an architect. Have to go, he's very functional, got it done on time, and the finish is great. I think clients might have a different view of the builder. So it's important to talk to a client on a building project.
And then when the work is being done, is it the client, if they're, say, living in the house while the work is being done?
Can't live in the house.
We can't.
And we've done it only twice.
So
it's a night where you can't.
That's what
unless it's a very, very, very big property where you can totally segregate off the work you're doing. But if you're doing fully refurbished house, you can't live in a house.
Can't do it.
So you do have to take that in mind. Your budget is a rental period for the build.
If somebody wants to get in contact with yourself, how would they go about it?
Well, the best way is to look us up online at Extend.ie. A lot of our clients actually come through the word of mouth, or people from the area. We do a lot of work in South County Dublin along the coast. But if you look us up at Extend.ie, you'll find us that way.
Johnny, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.